Hello. Part 2 of May's Film Club Double Bill is The Report, Scott Z. Burns' movie on the Senate Intelligence Committee's investigation into the CIA's torture program. So sit back and enjoy Roger, Tim and I discussing The Report. Tim, Roger, welcome to this second part in our torture double bill. Al-Qaeda double bill. And so this is for The Report, which is directed by Scott Z. Burns.
Z, I think he would say.
Yeah, but
was the deja vu of last week.
We're not in America. This is The Report stars Adam Driver, produced by Steven Soderbergh, amongst others. But it stars Adam Driver, Annette Bening, John Hamm, and is a film about the compiling of a document in a room. And so that does not sound like massively thrilling, particularly when one takes into account the Hurt Locker last week, which involved machine guns and helicopters.
Zero Dark 30.
Zero Dark 30, yes. Oh, sorry, did I say the Hurt Locker? Right. Zero Dark 30. This one does not involve helicopters and machine guns. Is in a room that doesn't have any windows and doesn't have any printers either as well.
The whole film is in a room
which
with
sounds
no
dull, but I think I'm more of a fan of this film than the two of you are. But I do think that it is important to if you watch the Zero Dark 30 film, it's great to watch The Report to give a little bit of context. I think they go really well together.
I would agree with that.
I think it's a good point.
And
by document, it's not it's not a little short few pages.
No,
it's a relatively long document.
Millions of pages.
Right? Yeah. What was it? 7,000 pages.
7,000. Yeah.
Most of which have been redacted.
Yes.
I mean,
it's fascinating. It's a fascinating film, and I think it's a good partner with.
It is a very good partner.
Yes. So just for a bit of context for the listeners, so as a result of what the CIA and indeed the Bush administration described as enhanced interrogation techniques, which is a term that I think Tim and Roger are comfortable with.
Well, I just like to say it how it is. I prefer, my love, my passions, I think should be labeled literally. So torture. You say it with verb, torture.
Yeah, so as a result of enhanced interrogation techniques, the US Senate and their Intelligence Committee, which is chaired by Diane Feinstein, who's played by Annette Bening in an excellent performance.
Love her.
And they undertake a report that lasts years and years and years into the CIA torture program. It becomes known around the Hill as the Torture Report. And Adam Driver plays Adam Jones? Daniel Jones.
He's had another stroke, Tim.
Yeah, I know. and
it's torture that's kind of affecting your brain.
It's frying his brain. Yeah.
And he's in charge of the report, and it involves millions and millions of CIA documents, as you say, boiled down into a 7,000-page report, which I think ultimately most of which is redacted and very few people actually read. But rather than read the report, just watch the film. It's a lot more enjoyable, and it's got some.
Can you actually read the report?
I think it's available on the U.S. Senate website. Yes, I mean redacted. A lot of it, as I say, a lot of it's redacted. The summary document, a lot of that's redacted as well. But it is a kind of landmark. We talked a little bit about moral high ground in the last episode. I think that this is where this shows a democracy doing what no other, and countries that don't have democracy that would never ever do. You wouldn't carry out an investigation into the behavior of your own intelligence agencies.
And you can see why there is a certain reticence from the CIA and cynicism, and understandably the fight that they put up is in fact quite thrilling. But you can see why there's, they're not going to just put up their hands and say, yeah, absolutely, do your research. We'll give you anything you need, particularly on this subject like this. So it does make a really thrilling film, considering it's in rooms. with no windows.
The material, yeah. I think that's right. There's a caveat there. Considering the material, they do actually string out a pretty dramatic and pretty thrilling film. Absolutely. But it's not Zero Dark 30.
No, it certainly isn't. I know, Ollie, I do think it is very gripping, but I have this feeling about the report. There's just one part that I think they could have sort of enhanced or made it a little bit more rounded, and that's his character. I think he's brilliant. I love Adam Driver. I don't think he's ever been bad in anything he's done. Some of his choices have been a bit dodgy. Some of the films that he's made. So he was in the Marines, and he was amazing.
Was he?
Yeah.
Really?
He served in Afghanistan, I think.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, brilliant guy.
And
I think then he went to Juilliard, and I think, if I'm right.
These talented people, they're so
really
annoying.
Talented. In Star Wars, he really gives it. I mean, he's properly brilliant as a villain in Star Wars, I think.
What has he made? What's the bad choice?
Megalopolis.
I haven't seen that.
Coppola's new film.
He's very good in silence.
He does look like he's just come to Earth.
He's hugely tall, isn't he?
He is. The last duel.
He's a strange-looking chap. I mean, not unhandsome, I'd say, before he writes in.
But, and I'm not entirely sure about House of Gucci. It was just a bit. He's playing an Italian, but he's brilliant. But my point being, is that I think that, and I kind of compare it a little bit to something like All the President's Men, which I know that Roger.
Yes, I was going to say that. It felt the same. To me, it felt the same.
Yes.
Yes.
Kind of this investigative. I love investigative films.
I love this stuff. I can't get enough of it.
No.
Right.
But my point is that is so thrilling and brilliant for me, partly because the characters, the two leads, firstly, they're two leads and they bounce off each other so well.
And there's a character arc in the middle of it.
Yeah. And you can see, even though you don't know so much about their backstory or what, their family life, which is fine. Sometimes we don't like that. Ollie and I agreed in JFK. We're not interested in his wife. Sorry, but we're not interested in his family life too much, because that becomes a little bit too American sort of dream. Here, I think there could have been a little bit more concentration on why there's a point, I think, which felt to me, it came out quite suddenly, that like his colleague says, you're taking this too personally now. And it came out of kind of nowhere for me. It felt, I didn't really know why it's personally invested. He's personally invested in this, other than that it's his job that he's got to do it. And I felt that a little more of an arc, a little bit more of him could have been brought out.
Both him, Adam Driver, and Annette Bening, I thought were really good.
Yeah,
but like you said, they could have been better. There could have been more depth to both characters.
Sorry, go on.
Just to say, I think the Dianne Feinstein character, there's a scene where she sits with John Hamm, who plays Dan McDonough, the chief of staff. And he explains, some of these CIA people have families, they can't go to jail. And she then explains briefly about some of the risks she's had to go through. And she mentions, because she was from San Francisco, so she knew Harvey Milk, who was...
she mentions, doesn't she?
Yeah. So I thought that kind of added a bit of sort of background to who she was.
Yeah,
quite effectively. Which I did not. I completely agree with you with the Adam Driver character, the Dan Jones.
It's simply because I think it's like 100% facts, isn't it? Really, the film. It's like bang, bang, this. Yeah. I can see there'll be people who'll be like, it's a bit boring.
That's the thing. You when you're making a film, okay, they're going for. I suppose they're going for the counterpoint to Zero Dark 30, right? So they want to be as factual as possible. But at the same time, it's not a documentary; it's a film, and the filmmaker's art is to add some depth and nuance to a character, even if it isn't there, and to create these character arcs and to create tension and jeopardy and all of that. That's all part of the game, right? And I didn't feel like it did enough of that.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. I think the score helps. That helps with the thrilling nature of it. But I think you're probably right with that.
And sometimes his when he's literally doing nothing more than, and I don't mean to overuse the word literally, but he literally spouts the facts to Annette Bening, and he sometimes does it at a raised voice, as if this is outrageous, and it's like maybe there could have been just something that made this really important to him before it starts.
Yeah.
Something happened. I don't know. It could be really simple. And then it sets the audience off on, I'm completely invested in your journey here.
Yes.
As to why it's happening. And
exactly.
then, but other than that, I mean, it's really fascinating stuff if you think about it. And
it's well done. With that, with the caveat of, what its core material is, it's very well done.
Mm.
Yeah.
He's very punchy with her, when they're having their meetings, which is like, I don't think I picked up on first or second time. I've watched this film about 6 or 7 times. I think it's brilliant.
Wow.
Yeah, I love
it. Some sort of penance that you keep doing.
I'm fascinated by this whole period of intelligence
culture.
history. It's just so interesting. It really is. Like from 1990 to 20, to the killing of bin Laden. I just find that all so fascinating.
But their relationship comes out a little bit, when she's like, "Do you work for me or do you work for the report?"
Yeah, that was a good line.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
clearly he works for the report.
Well, but
he doesn't
rightly
answer,
so.
Does he?
But rightly so, he should, right? I mean, absolutely. It's a good scene. Yeah,
and you really, in retrospect, think, my God, what a job, what a mountain of responsibility that he's been given to compile this. I mean, even as when you see him sitting in the hearing and it's the piles, the reports next to him in 2 piles. I had trouble just doing an essay at school.
There's that moment where his colleague says, "Oh, I can't do this anymore. I'm quitting. I'm serving notice." And he says, "Oh, okay. Well, I'm leaving in Thanksgiving." She says, "Oh, that gives us another 3 weeks. Thanksgiving's like tomorrow or something, or next week or something." Yeah. He's completely lost track of time. Which you can see in that oppressive concrete bunker that they're working in.
It's a brilliant, like when she comes in the morning and she's like, "How long have you been here?" And he's like, "All night." But he's bombarding her with information, and then after that he goes, "Good morning." Anyway, and he keeps going. That's interesting character insight.
Yes,
like there, but
it needed more of it.
It just needed a little bit of a catalyst, I think. But
yeah, I think that's fair enough. The other side of it, that I mean, there are a lot of other really good performances. Douglas Hodge is very good as this slimy. These 2 characters who have neither of whom really, they've just kind of hoodwinked the CIA into thinking they're experts, and they're not. They're complete jokers. These 2.
Yeah, they're brilliant. They're actually really, but scary. Brilliant.
Yeah,
actually,
scarily brilliant.
Yeah, if you think about that, that's precisely what may be wrong with that slice of American, probably not just American, but American society, the way the cogs kind of work.
Well, they got paid. The CIA gave their consultancy $80 million. $80
million, yeah. But it's in that kind of characterless, no soul. He's a psychologist, he's a flipping psychologist, and it's I think someone who I can't remember who it was, who said these are the people who are meant to. I think it was the director said, because his parents were psychologists, and he said these are people who are meant to help people, and they're doing the exact opposite.
There's a lot of that happening. At one point, they say, "Look, these 2 sort of psychologists who are carrying out the enhanced interrogation techniques, which involve rectal rehydration, which is something I never want to have to go through. It really disgusting stuff.
Yeah, but it's the sort of matter-of-fact scientific, in inverted commas, approach that they brought. I mean,
well, they had a PowerPoint presentation with bullet points, so people always fall for that.
Yeah.
Always.
I mean, that made it official and absolutely perfectly fine.
Yeah, he did his sort of, what was it called? Serve. Yeah. Basically, it just means you slap them about a bit. But
exactly.
But at one stage they say to the CIA, "Well, look, we're not really getting anything out of him, and we've done so many rectal rehydrations. Can you give us some intelligence so that we can ask him, and then he'll be able to?" And they're like, "What? You were telling us before that you could get all the intelligence, and now you want us to give you intelligence," which rather summed up the contradictions and downright stupidity of this whole program.
I found that the woman, great,
Maura Tierney, she's really good.
She's brilliant. Had so much more patience than I would have had with them. However long it went on for, I think I would have pretty quickly have gone, you guys are utterly fake. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, of course, the film is going to present them in this way. I mean, the CIA, I'm sure, would argue, well, look, they were very professional. The
very convincing
bullet points were really good, and
I mean, to be fair, the PowerPoint really wasn't that impressive, was it? I mean, but I think that's deliberate. But yeah,
I just read the stuff on the. They didn't really embellish anything, or
there wasn't
waterboarding.
There wasn't much enhanced about the PowerPoint, was there?
No,
there are a few decent sort of cameo. Tim Blake Nelson's quite good. He's always good though. I mean, a lot of these are again. I thought Ted Levine as director of the CIA, John Brennan, really, really good.
Yeah, he's a great character actor.
Yeah, and John Hamm, very good. Also, the guy who plays the senator, the sort of ginger senator, is very good.
Yeah, he usually pops up in lots of stuff as a very bad guy, as a villain. But I thought he makes the great point in one of the hearings to what's her name, the woman, and he's like, you hang on, your statement to the DOJ was this, the statement to the report investigation was completely different. Can you explain this? And it was so matter of fact and direct. It probably there's got to be one of the turning points where it was all the CIA were in serious spotlight. That's why I think it sort of sums up the film in its matter of factness. It wasn't colored with the sentimentality, nothing. There was nothing like that in the film. It was all very, factual, I guess.
He was very believable as a senator. The other thing I wanted to mention, Roger, sorry to dive in quickly, is that this is very unusual in that it is damning of the Obama administration, and very few Hollywood movies, left-leaning, would do that. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Now, I mean, in terms of the tone, just going back to what Tim was saying, in terms of the tone, I had jotted down on my pad, and it reads more critically than I meant it to, but I had down here dry and inert, which sounds more damning than it should have done. But
I think the room was definitely inert.
That's the feel that you get. It is quite inert, and there's not like you just said, Tim. There's not that sort of overlaying of an emotional content or of drama.
I think that's why maybe I do think films like this warrant more than one viewing.
Yeah, that's true.
Because once you get, it's sort of like, okay, I'll get my head around the facts. If you're interested in the cinema of it, then you kind of you go, I'll look at the performances and then you get once you get the info, then you watch it again.
Yeah,
then you can, and you really listen, and it becomes even more thrilling. And I think things like, All the President's Men is kind of similar. I think Spotlight, films of that investigative nature, where there's a lot of info being thrown at you, they get better when you watch them more than once.
I can see that. I mean, that said, I completely take your point, but that said, I'm honestly not minded to watch this again. But maybe one day, if there's a quiet Sunday.
Forget what I just said.
Well, maybe I have a dream that one day when we've all made our millions, we'll have a cinema room in one of our houses. We all gather together once
and watch the report on
watch the films that we've talked about together. Yeah, that's my dream.
I'm looking forward to. I've seen this twice or three times, and I'm already looking forward to seeing. I'm actually going to watch it again soon.
I'm going to watch it again, and I've watched it 6 or 7 at least times.
Simply the facts are, I find, sometimes you miss things because occasionally I'm looking at Annette Bening's scarf and thinking that's an interest, and I've missed something.
There is an association.
I do love Annette Bening a lot.
Well, there is a podcast that accompanies it.
I love her.
She is awesome. Great. I honestly struggled to dissociate her initially. I mean, she did it dissipated, but I was just thrown back to American Beauty. I'll be honest, because she was so great in that. The first time she was on screen, I was thrown back to American Beauty, which is one of my favorite films. So
she's got an old school quality. She has a sort of I think that's why I think she was amazing in the film Bugsy with Warren Beatty, because she has this 40s.
Yeah, she's a movie star.
Yeah, but an old style movie star. I think she was very, like spoke wonderfully and very cool.
Well, perhaps we should do our favorite scenes. So the contractors explaining their silly plan and the PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
Where
brilliant.
The CIA are sort of sitting at the desk and they're like, "Wow, these guys are amazing." You as the viewer are going, "What?
This is rubbish."
We could have come up with that.
Yeah. I think the torture scenes are very powerful, and so I would. When I say favorite scene, best scene, I think is what I meant to say.
It's so funny because you were so reluctant to mention the torture scenes in Zero Dark 30, but in this you're like, yeah, brilliant.
That's all I banged on about in the Zero Dark 30
as your favorites.
Yeah, so I think the best scene, I think you have to include some of the torture scenes, and I think the bit where the guy's lying on the table. Now these Al Qaeda guys, stick them in prison and throw the key away, as far as I'm concerned. But when you're rectally rehydrating someone, I think the liquid goes up the arse, the moral high ground is lost.
It is lost.
At that point.
Yeah. I mean, you've used the word rectal far too many times. I'm struggling with that as it is.
Yeah. And the hypothermia scene that was
harsh. That was harsh. Yeah, and he died, right?
And the waterboarding, they were. I've mentioned waterboarding quite a few times, and you haven't at all. But that was one of their prime methods. I'm still trying to get my head around, like, why? Is it
simulated drowning?
Yeah.
So you're meant to think that you're drowning. Your mouth
and one almost did.
Yeah, I don't know if you
really
actually can drown.
Intel. Well, you can, because I suppose if you breathe it.
Yeah, I would have thought you could.
I thought so. Yeah.
I guess the people who are doing it need to know what they're doing.
These guys, perhaps they've done a
PowerPoint, exactly.
Okay, so moving on. I mean, I find it all very thrilling, but I accept that there are moments sort of midway through the film where there's a lot of information flying at you. But towards the end, he's in sticky business because he's the document he's relocated, as he says, and so the CIA then commit a terrible crime, which is actually really is quite serious, is in that they break into the Senate. Basically, they spy on the Democratic representatives, which they're not allowed to do. And so it's not really one scene, but it's the sort of same subject, and it involves the different parties. So I'm kind of lumping it all together. But basically, it's where he speaks to the reporter. It gets out in the newspaper. Dianne Feinstein is initially angry, then says, "You need to write me a speech," and then you zoom to the DOJ meeting the director of the CIA, where he says, "Well, we're going to have to consider criminal charges," and they're going, "Yeah, that's great. This guy needs to go to jail." And they go, "No, not against him, against you."
Yeah. That was great, actually.
So those three all together, it's fantastic. So you finally see the tides turning.
Yes. Yeah. No, against you. Yeah, it's true. That I also like. It's quite brief, but I really, really like the scene where Adam Driver meets his New York Times contact in the car.
In a car park. It's always in a car park. Always in a car park.
I just thought it was really, really, and it's the scene where he's like, "What if I gave you the report?" And I was kind of thrilled. I thought this was quite thrilling.
That's very.
What would that
all
be?
The President's Men, there, isn't it?
Yes, car park.
Yeah. So I was going to mention that because that was that moment where the journalist basically says, you give us the report and we'll publish it, and he says no, and he says because he still has faith in the process, right?
Yeah.
Even though all of the evidence to date would suggest that he shouldn't have faith in the process, that he's being strung along and the whole thing's been manipulated, but he still has faith in the process, and I think that was a really telling moment in the film.
Yeah,
and it came across very well. Yeah,
I agree. I also liked Adam Driver's example of when the redactions are made.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was
Yeah.
going to mention this scene.
That's
Yeah,
a
It's
great scene.
like
where he exposes their idiocy.
so and so. Yeah, yeah. When he uses basically Jesus as
Yes.
as the
Yes.
example.
Yes. Blank turned water into
Yeah,
wine.
Blankton was.
And
Yeah.
the chief legal counsel of CIA says, well, you know, some people have found out my husband's name. He said, well, I think you announced him in your appointment hearing
Yeah,
on
yeah,
C-SPAN.
yeah. Sort of blank look. Even the pseudonyms could put the agents in trouble. Found
Yeah,
that.
and the contracts, and it's very clever because overlaying this discussion, the two guys are sitting in the two PowerPoint presentation guys are sitting in their private jet with a cocktail,
Yes.
you know, enjoying
Yeah.
their $80 million that the
Yeah.
CIA paid them. Yeah, that was a good scene.
Unbelievable.
Pair of chances.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, what are we going to pick about out of all of those?
I mean, the PowerPoint presentation is pretty.
I think that.
Okay. Yeah, we've got to do
so
that
funny.
PowerPoint
It's so
presentation.
funny. Yeah.
Oh, to have been there. Right. Okay.
Indeed.
Most inaccurate scene. I mean, this is quite annoyingly accurate film, I suspect. But you know, bits where it makes the Adam. I'm always suspicious in this kind of film where the guy, you know, Adam Driver's character, he's basically a really good guy, and he hasn't done anything wrong, and I'm a bit suspicious of that because I'm sure no one's perfect, and
Well, we don't. That's the thing. I guess we don't know enough. We don't know much about him.
no.
It's unknown unknowns, isn't it?
I mean, the scene where
Nice, Roger.
The scene where he is running in the park and then he runs into John Hamm on the bike. Hey,
Yeah, he's actually made to look at real douchebag, isn't he, John Hamm character?
And you remember what I said when we first met? I was like, it's convenient. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Also, they are a bit mean on them because he's got all the kit. You know, those cyclists who have all the kit. Yeah. I hope there aren't many listeners here who have, you know, the helmet, the gloves, the lycra, everything,
and his security staff, flanking him, and then, you know, stop and are in the background. It was a convenient writing, I guess.
Yeah. Let's see that.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, we'll go with that. Now, best performance. Well, it's, you know, Driver's film, really, isn't it?
Yeah, Driver's very good.
Lead, I think you can't really choose anyone else.
No.
And supporting, it's very difficult to choose anyone beyond Annette Bening, I think.
I agree with that.
Yeah, except that I do think one of the psychologists, the main guy,
Douglas Hodge.
Douglas Hodge. I thought he was...
He's in a very good TV series, which is a similar kind of government shenanigans, it's fiction, and it has Gabriel Byrne plays a prime minister, accidentally becomes prime minister because the previous one dies of a heart attack. No, dies in a plane crash, some reason. And Douglas Hodge plays this sort of an old friend of his, and he's excellent in it. He's a sort of alcoholic investigative reporter. It's called Secret State, and it's excellent, but Douglas Hodge in particular, I think he's made quite a sort of a name for himself in Hollywood now as a sort of supporting kind of character actor type. Any other? I mean, Ted Levine was very good.
I thought Ted Levine is amazing. I think he's always amazing.
I mean, he just looked and felt like a sort of CIA director.
I think Annette Bening, because I love Annette Bening, but the character didn't have a lot to work with.
No,
in terms of it's sort of a bit of info and.
But that's the criticism we were raising earlier on as well, isn't it? They didn't.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I mean, to be honest, I don't care about it in the film, but I think you're completely right to point it out.
But I would always vote for Annette Bening because she lost out for American Beauty. I think she should have won the Oscar and didn't.
Well, we know that Oscars are a joke. Who did?
The
best actress was Hilary Swank for Boys Don't Cry. And so one thing I didn't mention before, so the report, it cost only $8 million to make.
And shot in a very short amount of time.
Yes.
Presumably,
I mean, it's just in a room, isn't it? So
yeah. Well, yeah. But so presumably all the budget went on the actors.
Yeah.
Probably.
And it didn't, well, it kind of had a weird...
Yeah,
the stationary budget.
The printer cartridges. That's $4 million.
Yeah, a lot of rainforest was destroyed for this film.
Yeah,
but it didn't make much in the box office. But it was also released at the same time on Amazon Prime, and so it's a bit of a you can't really sort of gauge how successful it is.
Yeah.
Whereas Zero Dark 30, which we covered last week, that cost I think about 50 million to make and made 132 million.
Yeah.
But that was a more different time, I suppose, where people went to the cinema. So far more financially successful than The Report.
Yeah. I mean, they are very different films.
Yeah.
But as you say, I think they make a very useful sort of counterpoint to each other. So.
And genuinely, Ollie will agree with me. And Roger, I think if you can, I would really encourage people to, I think in order, I would watch the Looming Tower series, then watch Zero Dark 30, and then watch The Report. And you've got this amazing arc of history revolving around the same thing. I can't actually sell Looming Tower enough. I think it's super.
No, I agree.
I don't understand. It should be so much more famous.
But I'm going to have to cut you and we're going to have to, because I have to dash, but we have to give this a legacy rating. And it's really, I mean, it should have more, but it's not high. I'd say 1 or 2.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's gonna sink compared to Zero Dark 30 because of timing, because of the type of film it is. Yeah, all of that stuff, sadly. But yeah, I agree.
Okay, we'll give it 2.
Okay.
All right, guys. I'll see you shortly. Listeners, thank you very much for listening, and you can get in touch. Links are in the show notes. Until next time. Thanks so much for listening. Links are in the show notes. Please share with friends and family, and if you want to get in touch, you can through X or email history@aspectsofhistory.com. But until then, thank you and good night.